Welcome to the Wizard Nerdcast. This episode will be our first interview that we've ever had. It included myself, Marion, and Jane. DK was elsewhere at the time and unable to join us.
I like how you scheduled that around my
Hey,
work.
We made sure he wasn't going to be available.
Tight schedules.
Let's be fair. The three of us barely fit on the one side of the table to begin
It's
with.
hilarious.
We had the pleasure to sit down with Charles Thurston.
The 14th.
It does. It sounds so regal.
It does.
From the Art of Charles Thurston on Facebook.
And he was great.
He really was. He was
Yeah,
really personable.
he was a lot of fun.
I thought we had a good time. He's a children's author. He does a lot of works of parody. Doctor Who, Firefly,
Star Wars.
Star Wars, Star
what?
Trek.
Yeah.
Right. We were able to talk about a lot of them, and I really geeked out, and they made fun of me for it.
Yeah.
Oh, yes.
It was a good time, and if it wasn't for his wife calling, he was reeling us back into another
Oh,
long
he was
conversation.
trying to.
Yeah.
That was like
It was a good time. So enjoy this bonus episode of Wizard Nerdcast.
How's it going, guys?
It's growing great. How are you?
I'm good. I'm good. If you randomly hear children screaming in the background or my wife yelling at said children, that's because it's bedtime in the Thurston house.
Yeah, no,
Yeah.
completely understand.
you may
You'll hear-
randomly see a
you'll
cat
randomly hear,
walk
"Lily, get
across the
down."
screen.
Abby, don't hit your sister.
Yeah, there's a good chance you may see our lovely cat walk across, maybe, possibly. So
That's okay.
yeah, it
I'm not
happens.
judging out loud. It's okay.
But yeah, thank you so much for joining us. We really appreciate
No,
it.
Thanks for asking me.
Yeah,
That's cool.
What do you like?
Makes me
What do you
feel
like
like
to
a
go
big
by? Actually, what are you comfortable with? Charles, Charlie,
You can call me Charles.
Charles. Oh, okay,
Charles, all right.
great. Well, again, thank you so much for coming with the Wizard Nerdcast.
No problem.
We're relatively a new podcast, but we're really trying to get out there. And
I listened to the Nimoy episode. It was good stuff.
oh, great,
It was good
great.
stuff.
So thank you for listening.
You said this is what, your 10th? Well, this will be like your 11th or 12th?
This will be we record a week like beforehand. So we recorded when 10 dropped. We were recording 11.
Oh, cool.
Yeah, so
Good.
this will probably fall around our 12th podcast.
Yeah. It's fun.
There's normally a fourth member, DK, but he fortunately couldn't join us tonight. He works nights.
Yeah.
So
Okay. Was he the one that read 50 Shades of Grey, or was that you?
no, that was me.
Judgment Time.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. I'm,
Listen, like 2 minutes out, Judgment Time.
I'm slowly earning shades now. It's,
I heard.
Yeah.
I heard. It's okay.
uh,
I mean,
but I
it's
want to.
not really okay, but no. It is what it is.
I know
alright.
it's
Keep going.
it's terrible,
We
but
still love him.
yeah.
Yeah, it's
That's
alright.
that's all that
Family
really
awaits.
matters. I want to tell you and geek out on you a little bit. I'm a huge fan of your stuff.
He
Oh,
totally
really?
is.
Thanks, man.
Yeah, I know you go to so many cons and everything else. You probably don't remember. I met you at Philly Comic Con last year.
Oh, cool.
I actually specifically came to see you because
Oh, thanks, man.
at the time I was missing your Etsy stores when it was open, and
Yeah.
I could never get on there and quick enough.
That was the time, like, before I had it, because now I have the Etsy store open full time, like, it's
Right.
open all the time, and I restock like every month or so. But that was when right before I started doing. Well, when I saw you in Philly, I was already doing it full time. But I've been doing this now 4 years,
Oh wow!
going on 4 years, 2 years full time. No, almost 5. Yeah, 4
Wow.
years, something like that. Yeah, something like that. But like 2 years full time, and before, when I was not doing this full time, I was doing it part time, and I would have like sales on the Etsy store, like you said, where it would be like once a month or maybe twice a month. I'd open the Etsy store to sell the books.
Yeah, that's where I
And,
found you.
Yeah, it was great because it was like I would sell out of books in like 2 hours, 3 hours, because people knew it was something like, you got to get it now, or otherwise you don't get anything.
And that was exactly my feeling, because all three of us specifically are huge Who fans,
Oh, cool.
And I just recently had a son. He's a year and a half now.
Oh, congrats.
But thank you. But I want to get him into Who right away. Like, absolutely.
Yes,
And
totally.
you were the only person doing Who children anything.
Thanks, man. That's exactly why I do it too, because I probably explained to you at the table, and I've told it before, but I started doing this because my daughter was 2 at the time, and it wasn't for Doctor Who. It was actually for Star Wars. There was nothing out there for kids like 3 to 4 and under Star Wars. I mean, there was like some stuff here, like the Lego and the I'm trying to think of the big blocks, Duplo.
Duplo.
Right.
Yeah.
There was some stuff like that out, but there was no books or nothing, and like you can't show a 2-year-old Return of the Jedi.
No.
You can't show her.
Yeah.
You can't show her Empire Strikes
You
Back.
can, but
And,
it's
like,
questionable.
No, you really can't. It's funny. I get that at the table all the time. Like when I say that to people, and it's, do you have kids?
No, I'm the only one.
Yeah, neither of us.
It's
Yeah.
always the people that don't have kids that
Yeah.
are like, well, that's
No,
cool.
you're-
No. Like, I thought that
No,
too
she
before I
said
had
questionable, and I went, no.
kids. No, before I had kids, I did that too. I was like, well, maybe you could. And as soon as you're in that hospital bed, that hospital room, and you see that baby, you're like, I can't show them Star Wars. Which is weird that that's the first thing you think. Other
Yeah.
than look at my beautiful daughter, but you think I can't show them Star Wars.
No, I was picking and choosing, and I still am. What I want, what he can and cannot see.
You got to think like, yeah, it's up to like, and I tell everybody that asks me, like, I always say it's like it's your own personal parenting, like when you want to introduce that stuff to your kids. But I know for me at 2, I wanted her to know what Star Wars was,
Right.
but I thought like stuff like the Wampa would scare her, the Rancor would scare her.
Right.
And I thought, okay, there's got to be a way to present this to them in a family-friendly, like a friendly way, so they at least know who the characters were. And my daughter's favorite book was Goodnight Moon at the time, not anymore, but at the time. So I took that and I took Star Wars and I made Night Night Little Wampa, and that was the first book I made.
For a second,
And
I
then
thought you were
just-
gonna say you made Goodnight Endor, and I was like, that's a bit out of bad
No.
taste.
No, there is another dude. There's other, like, since I've been doing this, it's been nice. Like, I found like other people who have done similar stuff, and that's pretty cool. But there was I just wanted to make something that like I could show her, so at least she knew the characters.
Right.
So later on, when she got old enough to see it, it wasn't something that was like mommy and daddy like this, so you should like this. It's, I always
Right.
use the metaphor, like the example of I'm sure you guys are Patton Oswalt fans.
Oh yeah.
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
Oh, totally.
You listen to I'm trying to remember what the stand up was. It was like one of his, it's like stand up within last like 3 or 4 years ago, where he's talking about how like his parents weren't into this stuff, and that's why he's so into it. It's the same thing with me. My parents weren't into like Star Wars. They weren't into like anything that I'm really into. My parents really weren't into it. I found it on my own, so I think that's why I love it even more.
Right.
And like Patton Oswalt jokes about like when he has kids, like the only album he's going to own is like Phil Collins' No Jacket Required, because he wants to be the most boring parent ever. So his parents will go out there and find all this cool stuff. His kids will go out there and find all this cool stuff.
Yeah.
And I worry about that because my wife and I are really into like Star Wars and Doctor Who especially, and like Back to the Future and Ghostbusters and all this stuff that like we love. And I don't want my kids to be like, that's something for you guys, it's not something for us. So this way they get the characters, they get the references, they get the idea and the feeling of it, but they kind of feel like they found it on their own. So it's nice and subtle.
That's a great. I honestly never even thought about it, and I'm trying to slowly push him in, just like you said, so that he's familiar with it.
Yeah.
And his favorite book is not the Dalek.
Oh, yeah.
And,
That's based.
yeah.
Do you know what that's based off of? Do you have like in the Sandra Boynton books?
No, I don't.
It's a parody of Sandra Boynton's, but not the hippopotamus. If you don't know
Oh,
who
I know
Sandra
that
Boynton
book.
is, Sandra Boynton's genius.
Yeah,
but not the
she's
hippopotamus. It's hilarious. Like all of her books are really, really good. My kids love them, and that's like all the books that I put out are books that like my kids love. And I kind of, like I said, it's taking two things that you love and putting them together. It's peanut butter and chocolate, man. It's really just
For sure.
it's putting that stuff together. And yeah, I love Sandra Boynton. It's based off of, but not the hippopotamus. It's a parody of that.
I didn't know that. And he, honestly, and I have to, and it's the truth. I feel like I introduced books to my son early on, but specifically it was your books. I have.
Oh, thanks.
Yeah, I know. I got what was it? Wibbly Wobbly Woods, I believe is.
No,
I'm so sorry, but
no, it's
It's all right. He doesn't remember either.
I know.
Neither of it.
Daylight savings, leave me alone.
but the blue
I
box.
still think it's 3:00 in the afternoon. It's the box on Who Corner.
The Box on Who
There you
Corner.
go.
That's right. I'm sorry.
Yeah, I actually have 2 more books in that series I want to do that I'm working on.
That would be so great. And
Yeah,
he-
there's
Come Along
I have stuff like that all the time though. Like I have like ideas, like about 75% of the idea of the book done, and I have like 8 different books right now that I'm working on that are just like, okay, I just got to finish. I got to find that one little thing to finish this. And
How do you go about that? So you have different books? Are you spread out, or is it more of a it's in your head and then you're working on it here and there?
Do you mean like the books I have right now, or like what I'm doing? Like
What you're working on, like specifically, like if something new is like what you were just saying.
it's different. I mean, like any artist, I go through like periods of like where I just have a block and like I can't think of anything. Like January, I'm not gonna lie, like January and February have been like, all right, what am I gonna do? Like I have like ideas, I have these ideas, but it's just been like, because fall last year, like up from, I want to say, from September till December, it was just boom, 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 nonstop.
Right.
Doing stuff, and then I just kind of was like, okay, I just need a little break and just calm down. But the problem is, this is my full-time gig. This is what I do now.
Yeah.
Like Etsy is the full-time job. Touring and doing shows is the full-time job. I do all my own packing and shipping, everything. I bind the books all myself, and I'm at home with my 2 toddlers full-time.
How
So
old
it's
are your
like-
kids?
My kids are 2 and 5. Well, my oldest will be 5 this year.
Man, I don't know
so
how you
it's-
do it with 2. I
yeah.
can barely do it with 1.
What?
I
Yeah,
could
no,
barely-
oh gosh.
Like,
Yeah, and how old is yours? How old is yours
he's
now?
a year and a half.
Are you guys filming at your house right now?
No, this is at their house.
It's our house,
I'm
yeah.
amazed that you're able to get out and do that. Like,
We
a year and a
actually
half,
had
I'm
to
like,
have his
I'm
son
like,
with
I'm like
us during
sitting
one
in
of the
my office
episodes,
at home,
so-
and
Yeah,
Like,
no, Jane was saying my son actually had to be here for one of the episodes,
yeah,
Yeah.
I can believe that.
and it was interesting because we're all 4 of us are desperately trying to stay on topic because we tend to rant from time to time as it is and babble on, ramble on.
Yeah.
And then I have my 1.5-year-old throwing Batman books to read.
Yeah.
And it's
Yeah.
then he
While
wants
we
to
were-
terrorize the cat. It's terrible.
While we were trying to connect through like at the Skype in the other room, I can hear like my kids like fighting or like somebody like arguing over the iPad, what they want to watch on the iPad. And they're coloring, and God bless the iPad. It's
I don't know how you get any work done though. You have two kids.
yeah, well, it's like this is my work time. This is really like my work time. They go to bed ideally at 8:00, 8:30.
Yeah.
But they really don't fall asleep till like 9:30, something
Right,
like that.
perfect world,
But
they go to bed
at like
at
9 o'clock. I come into my office here and I sit down and I sketch or I write or get sucked into 3rd season of House of Cards, and like this is like the time my wife gives me to get away and be like, okay, this is what I gotta
Completely
do.
understand that. Absolutely, completely understand that.
Yeah, and it's like it's one of those things where too, like I have to think, okay, what is more important? What I have to do tonight? Okay, well I gotta get Etsy orders out, so let me get that done. And while I do that, I can at least watch the new season of some show that I binge watch or something, or I never get to play video games anymore too. Like that's
That
something like,
sucks.
you just had a kid. Do you play any video games at all anymore?
I'm not. I wasn't a big gamer. These 2 are, and they torture me with it.
I was.
Yeah.
Like, and when my daughter was born, like up until she was about 6 months, I would still play like some games here and there, but it's just like I realized I don't have the time to do it, and also it sucks me in, and like the only game, like I stopped buying games. My in-laws would buy me like a video game like once a year for Christmas, and it would always be like whatever the new Batman game was, and that like I would binge play that at night. So like you'd see a drop in my, it'd be funny too, because you can actually, if you like go through my Facebook, the art page thread, you can see like where there's like a drop for maybe a month and a half of posts, and that's because at night I'm playing like Arkham Asylum.
Yeah, yeah.
And then I just found out about the Xbox Live game with gold, or game gold with like live. What is it? Where they give you like Microsoft gives you a free
membership,
The
right?
gold membership?
Well, I have a gold membership, but it's like I guess twice a month Xbox gives you like a free game or something.
Yeah.
Oh
that's
yeah,
right.
yeah,
Right.
yeah.
I was
Yeah.
just reading that article.
Yeah, it's
How
pretty,
do you?
pretty sweet.
Yeah,
And
see,
this month is
I would never be able
Tomb
to work
Raider.
then.
Like, what?
It's
I
Tomb
can't
Raider?
hear I can't hear you for some reason whenever
Can you hear me now?
when I'm talking. I can hear you, but like when I'm talking and you try to talk at the same time,
Yeah.
Yeah,
I don't
that's
know.
Skype.
Yeah.
that's weird. But yeah, like this month is Tomb Raider, the new Tomb Raider, the last one that just came out, and it's really cool. And then like at the end of the month is BioShock Infinity. It's free.
That's insane.
That's a big one too.
We actually
Yeah.
got BioShock Infinity for free on PlayStation a few months ago, because PlayStation does it too. So and we got Infinity a while ago for it.
I want a PlayStation just for The Last of Us, but it's like I know I won't
Yes,
get nothing done for at least like
No.
2 months.
No.
And I need to make the money, so I can't.
It is
But yeah,
really great.
I randomly started playing Tomb Raider like a couple nights ago, and I haven't played a game since what was the last Batman game that came out? Was it Arkham City?
Arkham City,
Yeah.
or no? Well, unless you count the Assassins one they did, like Origins.
Yeah.
No.
Arkham City you're thinking of then.
I can't remember if I did that. I can't remember what it was. Literally, it was that long ago.
Yeah,
That's
yeah,
when I
there you
played,
go.
last time I played a video game without like the occasional like 20 minutes to get lost in Minecraft just to try to break up some sort of. Oh, what? You play Minecraft?
Yeah,
Shit.
that's
I
Jane.
can't hear you because I'm talking. I'm gonna shut up now.
Yeah, she plays Minecraft, and so do I. Mostly though, just building lots and lots of dynamite to blow stuff up.
Yeah, I had to stop. I had
Yeah.
to stop. I
It's a
bought
problem.
it 7 years ago when it was beta, when it was like $9.
Yeah.
And I used to play. Yeah, before I was doing this. For 5 years, I was a programmer for a military contractor, and I built courseware.
Holy
I
crap.
hated it.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Hated it.
I bet.
That's how do you go from that's such two extremes.
It's a very big jump.
You want to hear the jump before that though?
What?
Before that, for 16 years, I was a Disney character puppeteer.
Really?
Really?
That's
I went from a character puppeteer to a courseware designer, a courseware programmer,
See,
and then to actually doing what I want to do.
the jump from the first to the last makes a whole lot of sense.
Yeah.
But that thing in the middle is just totally
Strange.
I'll explain. I'll explain with one sentence. We wanted to have a baby.
Enough said.
enough.
Yeah, enough said. Yeah.
Disney's incredible. Disney's wonderful to work for. My wife actually still works there, and the character department is amazing. If you started there 20 years ago and you actually have some seniority,
Okay.
it's good and it's decent money, but it's not enough money to really have kids. And so I was like, I had friends that were programmers and they were working for this other company locally in town, and I
That's
was trying to
insane.
think of like what I want to do, and I wanted to be an artist, and I was sketching, but I wasn't really like drawing. Like my wife, it's funny because I kind of stopped drawing for a couple years just because like I don't know, it's one of those things like I guess you kind of figure out when you're younger, like you try to figure out what you want to do with your life.
Yeah.
And I always liked drawing, but it's funny, my wife, like when we met and were like getting married, we got married, and it wasn't until like a little bit after we married that I like started drawing, got married, that I started drawing again. And she's like, oh yeah, you can draw, like you are an artist. And, you know,
Oh.
Yeah, that sounds like something a wife would say. Absolutely.
Yeah.
Why are you wasting your
but-
time?
we wanted to have kids. And I needed to make more money. So my friends were working at this programming company. They were looking for programmers, and it was just basic HTML stuff. And they're like, just take a course at the local community college and get a certificate. And yeah, I literally got a technical certificate in web development. I learned HTML. I still really didn't know like how to program, what to do at all. And they're like, well, we'll set you up an interview. They basically just wanted me to come work with them.
Right.
So they set up for an interview, and I went to the interview, and the manager, the actual boss, was out of town, but like the project leader was there, so she's the one that interviewed me, and I basically just made her laugh for about a half hour and got hired.
I mean, that works, yeah.
Totally faked my way through, like, oh yeah, like, do you know Flash? Oh sure.
Yep.
Oh yeah.
If you can't make
Yes.
it, fake it. Absolutely.
And then for the next year, like I basically learned how to program and what to do. And like
Google's your
it was
friend.
anytime anybody asked me like, oh well, this is built in Perl, and we really need somebody that does CSS2 and blah 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 blah. Do you know how to do that, Charlie? Sure, but how would you want me to do it? Like, I want to know exactly like the way you guys do it. How?
Yeah.
Because I want to know your way to do it. I don't want to know like somebody else's way. And they're like, oh, let me show you, and they show me, and I'd make like a little. I had like this little cheat sheet text document that I started, and it's funny. God, I just laugh at thinking about it. Like when I started the company, it was just like the first month it was a 2-page text document, and when I left 5 years later, it was a 32-page text document of all these scripts I saved for like, because it's courseware programming. It's just basically it's a assembly line.
Yeah,
So-
right.
Template.
Exactly.
So,
Whatever works for you, right? I mean,
yeah.
damn.
And then the economy hit, and I got fired with a lot of other people.
Yeah.
And I'd already been doing this part-time for about 2 years, and I had built a nice following on Facebook, and with like God bless the Doctor Who sites.
Yeah,
God
right,
bless all
yeah.
those people. They just, the Doctor Who fans, the Whovians, I freaking love them because they embrace my work. And
They're
they
so
are just
hardcore.
awesome hardcore people, wonderful people.
it's how I found you. It was through them.
Yeah, so through them, it was one of those things where, like, my wife had already seen, like you said, the store was only open twice a month.
Right.
And twice a month, you see, like, the numbers I'm pulling in, and it was one of those things where, okay, if you want to try doing this, my wife has a really good job. We have good benefits through her job, so let's do it. And that's when we had just, like, my youngest, we just had a baby, too, like, a little while like, before that, so the second child, so it was like, okay, let's do this. So it's been over, April will be 2 years doing this full time.
That's incredible.
Congrats, man.
Yeah, absolutely.
It's
Congratulations.
really
well,
hard to make it out there like that.
It's tough. I mean, I'm not wealthy by any means whatsoever,
right.
but it's still,
You're
it's one of
doing
those things
what
where
you
I'm still
love.
getting my name out there, and I'm doing bigger shows. I've like done New York Comic Con and C2E2 before. I'm getting ready to do C2E2 in a couple weeks here. And,
Right.
It's been really nice. I'm only now getting used to, like you said, like you went to Philly specifically to see me. I'm only getting used to that within the last like couple months since Philly. Like, 'cause you weren't the only person at Philly to come like just to see me, and I was like, people know who I am.
Yeah.
No, it's
just-
incredible, but you're talented. You're beyond talented. You really are.
I fake
No.
with humor.
It's it's the truth because like I watch your those quick sketch videos that you put on your Facebook.
I love
Oh,
those.
they're
You liking
great.
those?
They're great.
They're so cool and
Oh, thanks.
and you take all these different things and I loved your Groot series that you.
Oh, I'm still doing more though. I love Groot.
Those are so. It's just you put a twist on what you do, where it's kid friendly, but at the same time, like I enjoy it, and I enjoy it that much that I want to put it in front of my kid, and like he's got a toy chest, and I keep the majority of his stuff in there, and I keep out a certain few things that he's always playing with, and your books are on the table at all times.
Oh, thanks, man.
Yeah.
That's what I try for. I mean, I probably told you at the table, like my motto is if I can't show my kids, I don't do it. So
Right.
my stuff is all, nothing you can show a 2-year-old, nothing you can show a small child, and I try to keep it that way because it's one of those things that like I have a lot of people that follow me. I mean, it's not. It sounds like real, like I'm like a dick. Like I got a lot of people that follow me. No, I mean, but I have a lot of people that follow me specifically for that reason. That there's not a lot of artists out there that like will only do stuff that they can show their kids. There's artists out there that do stuff that they really like, and they'll show their kids 1 or 2 of their things, but they can't open up their Facebook page and say,
Right.
"Look at all this stuff," and have it open in front of them. They can
Right.
with mine. So
No, and
I just
that's
try to keep it that.
that's so I don't know if commendable is the right word, but it's fantastic just because like it's a different kind of respect, you know.
It shows that you're doing it for your kids, you know? Like, it really comes across that way, you know?
Nobody will ever question the validity of what you're doing.
Yeah.
I kind of like I felt exactly what you were saying, how you didn't do it for a long time when you got married and then you started up again. I was an art major for a long time, and I painted and sculpted. I did everything that I could do, and all of a sudden I stopped school. I decided to go out into the world, try to figure out what I was doing, exactly what you're saying.
Yeah.
And it's only recently when we started this that I've even started to do again. You're talking that's almost a 10-year gap for me, and that was huge. And
it is. It really is.
It was
And,
a
like, you
big
can
part of my
see-
life,
you
like
can-
it is yours.
And it's like it's probably like when you before you stopped, like you see like the level you were drawing then, and then look at the level you're drawing right now, and it's noticeably different, isn't it?
No, it absolutely is.
Yeah,
And Marriage,
it was the
Marriage
same
an
thing
artist,
with
so is
me.
Kay, and they're both artists. I'm sorry. It's the same all the way through. You're absolutely right.
Yeah. Yeah, and it's one of those things too, like with when I started getting back into it, like I posted on my personal page on like, I've neglected drawing for so long and it's something I love and I really want to get back into it. So I'm just like, I put out the crappy stuff that I drew. Like I put out the things that like, I look back at now and I'm like, oh, I just cringe. Like, especially like I'd never been to a convention. Like growing up, I'd been to like one convention. And it was because it was in high school, and some friends kind of dragged me to it. Like I was just like, I was into comics, I was into the sci-fi, I was into a lot of stuff, but I didn't. Conventions were kind of creepy to me back then. Like this was like early '90s,
Right.
Late '80s, early '90s. I can't remember. Was it high school?
Where did you come up?
It had to be high school. I'm here I'm in Orlando, Florida. I'm born and raised here.
Oh, okay.
Makes sense with the Disney.
I love it.
Right.
It's nice and no snow. Wonderful.
Yeah,
Well, believe me, we're in Philly.
Where are you guys at?
Philly.
Philly.
Oh God! I'm sorry.
Horrible.
No. For the snow, I'm sorry. Like everything else, like in Philly, like I loved Philly. It was really nice, especially the what was the place right across from the convention center that had like all the amazing food.
Yeah,
Reading
the
Terminal
Reading
Market.
Market.
Oh God, that was so good. it was Fat Guy Paradise. I walked in
Yes.
there and I'm like,
Yeah.
I gotta call my wife. I feel like I'm cheating on her right now. Amazing.
The
Like,
best
and
part about it, there's the Amish are there, and
Yes.
they're only there specific days during the week because that's when
Yeah.
they're allowed to come down, and their
Yeah.
food is outstanding.
So good. I ate breakfast there, and an Amish guy, like these Amish girls made my breakfast. I was like, this is amazing. This is great.
Where am I?
This is like something out of I don't know, some sort of movie. Am I in a movie? This is great. But no, I like that, but I hate snow.
Oh, it's
when I was
terrible.
16, we moved to Connecticut for 8 months, and I freaking hated it. It was
Yeah.
snow, and I love.
I don't think
Orlando.
anyone genuinely enjoys the snow up here.
No.
It's not that fun anymore.
It's
No,
good for
my wife's
a
from
minute.
West Virginia, so like
Yeah.
we go for a visit, and we've gone back for when it's snowing, and I'm just like, this is miserable.
Yeah.
The best part of snow died when I left high school.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's
Yeah.
all it was.
Snow
It was
days.
just
No more
that's
snow
the only
days.
reason
There
I
were
liked
snow
it.
days. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, I get that. But what I was saying with the convention, like, I never went to like conventions growing up, and the only time I went to a convention, I want to say was when I was in high school because my friend drove there. I remember I still have the book that got signed. I remember my friends like paying for me to get in because I thought it was kind of stupid to like, why am I paying to go in to spend money? And I kept that attitude for years on. Like, you're charging me to go into a building that you want me to be in to spend more money at your vendors. I thought that was just the stupidest thing in the world.
Right.
And now as like a convention artist, I really think that's not a stupid thing because I've been at shows where people get in for free. And I'll tell you right now, they don't want to spend any money for free.
Right,
So it's
exactly.
like,
Yeah.
a
Obviously
person
they're
at
only
the
coming
table
for one
selling
reason.
Stuff, I want them to pay something because they're coming in to get stuff.
Yeah.
But I remember my friends being like, no, it's great because look at, like, there's people in costume, there's celebrities here, and there's people, like, famous comic book artists, and you can get stuff signed. We're going to wait in line. Here, you should get something signed by this guy. He's really great. I'm like, I have no idea who this guy is. I'm like, just some goth-looking dude in the corner. I don't want to get, okay, fine. So my friend made me buy this book, get it signed, and, like, it was just this creepy, skinny British dude, looked like kind of like Tim Burton.
No.
Really,
Is it Neil Gaiman?
Wait, give me, don't say it. Give me a second, because I think you know. And he's like, looked really creepy, and the girl in front of me like gave him a pebble, like a shiny pebble. And this is early '90s, so I'm there in like my trench coat, and like I went to that goth phase like everybody else. And the girl in front of me is like, I got this pebble for you. I just thought it was magical. And he takes it and he goes, this is the most precious gift anyone has given me. And he was so serious about it. And then I come up and I'm just like, hey, how's it going? Here, and just hand him it. And he signed my Death, High Cost of Living, and that's how I met Neil Gaiman.
Oh,
my
my
God.
God, man.
That's
And I'm like, and now
Hold on,
I'm like, after
hold on.
reading like all Sandman Mystery Theater, I'm like, I met him and I
he.
didn't know who he was.
You're gonna. Yeah.
It's
Ma-
destiny.
Cool.
Yeah.
Yeah. Now I'm just like, I I met Neil Gaiman in high school. I got Death High Cost of Living signed, and I talked to him and shook his hand, and I had no idea who he was. I just thought he was so, like,
Don't
he
you
looked
wish
like
you
Tim
could like
Burton.
go back and like
Appreciate it.
like appreciate
Yeah,
that
no,
moment you had with greatness?
I had no, and it's like, it's funny because it was like smart ass teenage Charlie. I'm so happy I didn't walk up to him. Other than being like, hey, how's it going? My alternate was going to be, I loved what you did with the Batman series. I was gonna make a smart ass joke thinking like just pretending the entire time he was Tim Burton.
Oh, aren't you glad you did not do
And I'm
that?
just so happy I didn't do that because I'm just like, because now if I ever get to see him again at the convention, I could be like, I'm an artist. I'm here in Artist Alley. My name's Charles Thurston. I make these kids' books. I love Sam and Mr. I painted Delirium once. Here's a picture of it. Like, I'm a fanboy over on it.
Do you get that opportunity much? Do you get to geek out when you're at the conventions?
Oh, I've done it, a couple times because, like, the nice thing about my books is, like, I've got to meet some really, like, awesome people that have heard about my books or that have seen them and come up and, like, because I saw, like, a lot of books at shows that people will take to get stuff signed. Like, I saw a lot of Come Along Pond because people say take it to get Karen Gillan to sign it.
Yeah.
Or Blue Box because people take it to get Matt Smith to sign it.
Oh, that's great.
One of the first shows I did last year in New Orleans, Wizard World, a bunch of people bought my Firefly book, Leaf, and were taking it to get Alan Tudyk to sign it. And he, I'm sorry?
Such a great book. That's all.
Oh, yeah. I literally have to warn people, though, because 5 different times there's been a lady crying on the side of the table reading it that I didn't say what it was. Because for those listening, I have a Firefly book. I wanted to introduce Firefly to my kids, but I couldn't think of a good way to do it. And originally I wrote a book called The Boy Who Cried Reaver.
Oh, nice.
And I wrote it, I drew the cover, and I didn't put it out because there's no good way to do The Boy Who Cries Wolf and Reavers or anything, because The Boy Who Cries Wolf, the kid gets eaten at the end. So I'm just like, I don't want to read my kids a book where the kid gets eaten at the end with Reavers.
By Reavers,
I wrote the book like the kid got away, but like everybody else dies. So it's not. There's no way I could do it. But I wrote Leaf, and people liked it. And in my head, it's what Zoe sings to wash his baby at night. So I just did a nice little sweet lullaby.
Right.
And Alan Tudyk really liked it.
Oh,
and
really?
Sunday, like a lot of the times for a lot of the conventions, like if it's like a Friday, Saturday, Sunday convention, like Sunday morning, some of the celebs, like before the show starts early in the morning, they'll walk around the tables, they'll walk around to see the vendors, like they're really into it. Like Alan Tudyk does that, and a couple other people do it. So I like to always like get there early just in case they do that, so I can be at the table. And Alan Tudyk came to the table, and he liked the book, and like he kept it on his table while he was signing all day on Saturday, and I got a picture, and then like we have a local show here in Orlando called Hurricane Who, and it's a really great show. It's a nice local show. It's the same time every year. It's like Halloween every year, which is it's good, but it's a pain in the butt because my daughter's birthday is Halloween, and my anniversary is November 1st.
Oh, jeez.
You just set yourself up for failure.
What's up?
You set yourself up for failure, man.
Yeah. Fall is extremely expensive for me.
Yeah.
But I did it last year, and they have another show called Hurricane Who Summer Nights in July, and one of the guests was Gareth David Lloyd, the guy that plays Yanto.
Yeah, I love Yanto.
Nice.
Super nice guy. He was set up at the table right across from me, and I had like all my books displayed out, and he's like, "Did you write Night Night Little Wampa?" I said, "Yeah." He goes, "My kids love that book. My daughters. I can't remember if he has a daughter or a son. I think he said son.
That's so
great. His son
though.
loves that book." I'm like, "You know who I am?" He goes, "Yeah." I said, "How did you get the book?" He goes, "A fan gave it to me at a show, and my son loves it." I'm like, "That's great."
That's
and like
gonna
we
be
took
mind-blowing.
pictures.
Yeah.
Yeah, and like I met like Colin Baker was the same way. Like I like Colin Baker the show, and he liked my work. And I have like you've probably seen him on the Etsy page. I have a series of Disney doctors, just different Disney characters. I call it Who Dis.
Yes,
and
absolutely.
Yeah, and I've gotten Colin Baker to sign one, Peter Davison, and number 9.
Eccleston.
Not Eccleston. I'm sorry, number 8.
Wait.
Paul McGann.
Yeah.
Sorry,
I went John Hurt for a second.
That's
What's up?
I went John Hurt for a second for some reason.
God, if John If I met John Hurt, like as a puppeteer, I'd be like, storyteller's talking to me. Storyteller's talking to me. I don't know what to do. I don't know what to do if I had a chance to meet him to get something signed. I don't know if I would take my DVD of Storyteller or King Ralph.
Oh my God! Just bring them both. Bring them both.
I'd bring them both.
Bring them both. Yeah.
Pay
That's
twice as much. It's worth it.
Yeah. It's like so good.
where now, like you say, Colin Baker, Dave's. That's you have all these people that enjoy your work, and not just schlubs like me. I mean, these are legitimate people that are enjoying your work.
Yeah, it's been nice.
Has it ever become an option to maybe like approach BBC with stuff like this, or
No.
No?
No.
is that from your end, or just honestly?
It's one of those things where like the problem is too, I don't have an agent.
Right.
Like, and the with the books too, like this year, like I'm trying really hard to find a literary agent because
You're all set.
the publishers, they won't touch you. I found this out at New York Comic Con, actually. It's funny. I submitted, maybe it was about 2 years ago, Chronicle Publishing, they do a book called Darth Vader and Son.
Right.
And that book came out after I was already doing Night Little Wampa, and I thought, well, they do a book just kind of similar to what I'm doing, and I know I can send it to. I know I'm legally clear. Like, since all my stuff is a work of parody, it's not like they're going to hit me with a cease and desist or anything if I send it to them.
Right,
So
right.
I sent 90 Little Wampa, If You Give a Jar, Broken Droid, 11 Little Doctors, and Cyberman's Picnic. I sent 4 books to them over 2 years ago, like maybe 3 years ago.
Right.
And because they have a submission thing on their website where you can submit like your books and ideas and stuff. Did you hear that?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
No.
It's okay.
Hold on a second. I'm gonna say goodnight to my kid. Hold on a second.
Yeah.
Hold on. Okay. Stop hanging on the door.
He is a Captain America shield in his office.
Good night.
Yeah, he does.
Good night. I hear my wife yell in the back. No, Daddy's working. Give me like 2 minutes, and then the 2-year-old's gonna come in. Daddy.
Yeah.
Good night.
Can I just
But,
say that's an awesome Captain America shield you have over there?
Yeah, it's my office is complete wreck right now because I'm
Yeah.
getting ready for MegaCon, which is like my biggest show of the year, and getting ready for C2E2. So it's like everything. Like you can see, like my setup is like there's my Cintiq and my toys, and
That's a great setup.
Nice.
it's okay.
Are there
I'm getting
pop
ready
figures there?
to redo everything?
Do you have pop figures?
I have what?
Or do you have pop figures there too? Did I see that?
I have one pop figure. I have the Wampa.
Mamba!
That's the only one because I really don't like the pop figures.
Oh, really?
Oh.
I love the Mighty Mugs. I'm a big Mighty Mug fan. I have like my office. It's my office at the Carly, the company I used to work for when I was a programmer. The cubicle. My cubicle was lined with Mighty Mugs. Like all my Mighty Mugs. Like I kept all the boxes because I love the box art. I love Mighty Mugs, and they stopped
awesome.
making them.
Yeah, they have the same thing here. They have it's not the mugs, it's the pop collection, and it's extensive. And the first time I walked in, I was personally amazed because they have all the boxes and they
There's
kept
some
everything.
great ones. I really like the new Disney ones that just came out. Those
They're
are
really cool. Yeah, they're great.
Like the Wally. I really like that little Wally.
Yeah.
It's amazing the amount of variety they have.
The
too.
license.
They've got
Yeah.
license to everything. It's amazing.
Yeah, it's really there's some good stuff. I really like the Mighty Mugs. I love the Mighty Mugs.
That's
But what I was saying about Chronicle.
right.
When I was at New York Comic Con, they were there. They had a big booth there, and they actually had like agents there. So I knew I was going to try to talk to one of the agents to be like, I submitted this over 2 years ago, and they tell you also like submit when you submit stuff to send a self-addressed like a postcard, self-addressed postcard, so that when they open it, they send that postcard back in the mail, so you know that
Oh, okay.
something that it was looked at. I never got a postcard back, so I was just like, I went and talked to the lady. Yeah, I mean, there's some exec right now like this is just. It's like in their bathroom or whatever, something they laugh at or something. I talked to.
No, go ahead. No, I'm sorry. Go ahead.
No, so I talked to the agent. I said, I never heard anything. I submitted this over 2 years ago, and I'm an artist in Artist Alley, and I have over 20 different kids books right now, and I'd love to work with Chronicle if possible, because I do Star Wars parody stuff. And they're like, they said it took about 4 years to get the licensing and everything through Lucas for Darth Vader and Son. Yeah, and like it was just such a big process. And also, she's like, "And who's your literary agent?" I said, "Well, I don't literary what?"
Yeah, right.
And I'm like, "No, I don't have one." And she's like, "Oh, well, we don't even open it if you don't have a literary agent."
Wow.
So like most companies won't. I'm like,
It's
then
like
why have the information on your website for submission?
Yeah, it's like the same thing with like the Screen Actors Guild. Like they won't touch anyone who's not covered by that, you know?
Like SAG, yeah. If you
Yeah.
That's such a tough world to be in.
Yeah.
And
So
but
I'm
you're successful. I mean, even if take monetary out of it, just the pure enjoyment.
I got kids. Leave monetary in it.
Please.
Don't take it out.
Yeah.
But like the enjoyment that everybody's getting from these, like I know you may be modest about it, but it's such a
It's out there.
it's out there,
It's out
and you're doing such great work. You really are.
I'm trying. It's one of those things where I just like I just gotta keep moving forward with it, like keep going, because
Well, you took big franchises that have had fandoms for 20, 30 years, and you turned them into something relatable, completely relatable for children. I
Right.
can see this, like, even if not right now, but being a lot bigger than it is later on, because kids love that stuff.
I joked when I first started doing it that like by the time BBC notices, maybe I'll have 20 books.
Yeah.
So maybe they'll say something, and now I have 20 books. I'm like, BBC won't notice.
You've got a season.
Yeah, you've got a season.
It's a BBC season. You have 3.
Yeah.
I've had them like retweeted. I've had them tweeted by like Karen Gillan, and I've had them tweeted by like not even the book. Like someone tweeted a picture they took with Karen at Wizard World while holding Come Along Pond.
Nice.
And like she didn't tweet like about Come Along Pond. She just tweeted like, "Oh, this was a picture I took."
It's there
And
though.
then, like-
It's
But
there.
your
Yeah,
book
and
was
then
there.
Caitlin Blackwood's mom, Linda Blackwood, like the little girl that plays young Amelia Pond.
Yeah, her cousin,
Karen's
right.
cousin Caitlin. Yeah, there was a show. It's funny. There was a show called Amelia Con here in Florida, and it was all like Caitlin Blackwood was the main draw. She was the main guest, and her mom contacted me through Etsy because she had seen a picture with Karen and someone at the show holding Come Along Pond, and she buys like all this pond stuff up for Caitlin, so when she gets older, she'll have all this. She's a good mom. She's just basically saying like, I'm buying all this stuff that has my daughter on it, so when she gets older, she can be like, look at all this stuff when I was a little kid. And she loved the idea of Come Along Pond. She wanted to get some books, and they were going to go be at AmeliaCon, and they wanted to know if I was going to be an artist there. And I said, well, I wasn't going to, but if you'd like, I can contact them, and I'll ask if I can come. And yeah, so I contacted them, and they're like, oh, we're full up. And I'm like, oh, okay, because Caitlin's mom asked me if I could come up for the show. I said, I'm happy to pay for a table. I'm not asking for a table for free. Well, no, we're full. I'm like, well, how many artists do you have? Oh, we have 8. Like, what?
That's
Really?
full?
It was like a small show. It was a really small show.
Yeah, I'd say
And
so.
I was like, okay, all right, fine. So I ended up giving books to a friend of mine who was going as an artist, and like give them to her, and
There you
yeah.
go.
So it's just one of those things where, like, yeah, people notice. It's great,
But that's credible. It really is. I mean, Mara pats me on the shoulder because I really am geeking out hard because I really like.
over what? Over me?
Yeah.
You don't understand, man. He really is.
He does
making
dig
a
ya.
puddle over this. Like,
I'm whatever. I don't geek out over me. I'm just a dude. I'm a fat guy who draws with glasses.
that's
And you know what? You know what the weirdest thing is? When we were trying to get this all connected and everything, the first time we saw you, I was just like, "Holy crap! It's fucking Tonelli's doppelganger!" Like you guys look very
Take the
similar.
hat off. Take the hat off. Now do a little dance. No.
Absolutely, no problem.
You
Listen,
got way
jump
more hair.
how
You got way
high.
more hair than I do.
It's not much.
Yeah,
Believe me, it used to be like.
it's
Oh, yeah.
dwindling.
Oh, I go through that. I go through that phase too, where I look at pictures in high school. I'm like,
Yeah.
look at that beautiful kid. Look at that. He's got his hairline started here.
Exactly.
Like a young Ralph Macchio,
He had the whole world ahead of him.
or at least a 45-year-old Ralph Macchio.
Yeah. Jane, I've known Jane for we were saying probably about 15 plus years. And,
He was no Ralph Macchio in high school, right?
But I
was
had a head of hair, and
it was so nice. Oh.
it's going. It's
just like-
going. I figure I got
it's-
one more haircut in me.
I shave my head, like, I don't have a shave right now, but, like, I shave my head usually.
Yeah.
Just because it's one of those things where, like, I'm going bald on my own terms in my head.
Right,
That's what
yeah.
I think, like, it's like, I'm going to go bald. I know I'm going to go bald, but it's in my family. I know. And
Right.
I'm lucky, like, my wife met me, like, I think she met me, like, the year before my hair started to go.
Oh.
Like,
Oh,
you see
so you
pictures
just
of, like,
squeaked
right
in
when we
there.
left. Yeah, oh, yeah. I get she met me, like,
But
right
don't
there,
you feel
peak.
like
Right there. That's when she met me.
don't you feel like it might kind of send kind of a creepy image if you go to these cons as a children's artist, like bald and just like
No. Well, I go bald, but like I also like clean shave too. Like I have a beard and everything right now. It's like I shave right before a show because I don't want to look like Stranger Danger, and I'm selling
Yeah.
children's books. Yeah, and it's one of those things. Like I really like. I like when I shave my head. I like how it feels. I like how I
Like the
like how it
texture.
looks. But my wife's like, you look mean. You look like you're like a bouncer or something.
Yeah.
I'm like,
Yeah.
yeah, but I got a giant smile on my face, and I'm happy, and I'm talking to people
That
like,
might-
hey, you like Star Wars?
That might just make it
Don't your
worse.
kids
Yeah.
like 'em too? All right, come on over, guys. So
Do you want
Yeah,
to see my
I-
children's books? Like-
it's, there's some candy, here's a man. No,
we're
No,
nerds.
I-
We're very keen to being
Yeah.
socially inept.
Yeah.
oh, I'm sorry. What?
We're very keen as nerds to being socially inept.
Yeah.
I don't know. You know, one way or the other, you're traveling. You're doing what you enjoy.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's rough though. Like the travel actually is the only way I'm able to do it. It's like you said. Like I still like think I'm not a success.
Right.
Like I think I'm doing well because I'm doing something I enjoy. I love doing.
Right.
I'm
That's-
doing what I
that's
want to do. When I was a kid, I wanted to be an artist. I always wanted to be an artist. I wanted to make cartoons, and then I realized animation's really hard.
Yeah. Yeah.
And so I like painting, but travel, like it's an expense, and it's one of those things where it was. I didn't travel the first year I was doing this full time. I started traveling because I had two other artist friends that they wanted to start traveling too. So I travel with them, and it breaks up the expense of like hotels and
Right,
travel
right.
and stuff. I mean, but I'll do like any show that's in Central Florida. If I can drive to it, I'll do it.
Yeah. Well, that's the way you got to be about it, you know?
Yeah.
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 It's a business. So, I mean, you really have to look at like all the angles of it and stuff.
For sure. Yeah, you got to be willing to do anything, really.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's but like I was saying, like it's so great that you're able to do this. Like
It's
from
my wife. It's my wife. Like I don't give my wife enough credit like on the Facebook page when I talk about stuff, but like it's really, I'm incredibly blessed to have like a wonderful, just incredible woman that I'm married to, because she's just incredibly supportive. Like any other woman like would say, like if you say I lost my job, I think I'm gonna keep making these kids books from the house and sell them on the internets. They would be like, screw you, get a job. Let's go get a job. But my wife was like, no, this is what you want to do. Okay. And
That's
she's been
awesome.
incredibly supportive, and I have a really good my family is incredibly supportive too. Like I'm very blessed. Like my parents are amazing people, and they've always been really supportive. So
do you get that from them, like the artistic side, either of your parents?
my mom, I think, my dad's not really, I get my enjoying to talk to people.
Right.
My wife calls it like my salesmanship. I get that from my dad.
Right.
Because my parents are both in sales. My dad is like an amazing salesman. But my mom is really creative, like crafty. Like my mom, they both sell timeshare. That's their full-time job. They're really good at it. But my mom is like a seamstress. For like when I was growing up, she would take on jobs like sewing. Like, do you remember those the Zubaz pants
Yeah,
from the
yeah.
80s?
Yeah.
Like the zebra stripe. My mom like sewed those, made those. Like those were like, yeah, she would take in like piecemeal work of that. Like it would be like pallets. Like in my house, like I remember we had like, I think it was like 5 different sewing machines.
Wow.
Is
Like
that
5,
why?
like, and the big ones, like you can actually see here in the corner, like we have, like in my office here,
Yeah.
big old sewing machine.
Oh, that's great. It's in the
we have,
table.
like,
Yeah.
It's
Yeah.
in the
What's
table.
up?
That's awesome.
yeah,
that one of the
it's
old
like a legit
singers?
sewing machine.
Yeah.
What's up?
Is that one of the old singers? Because they built
Yeah.
singer desks.
Yeah, I think that's the singer.
That's awesome.
That I can't believe
But,
you knew that.
It's an antique. Hold on to it. It'll be worth money.
We have 4 of them.
You want money? Sell one.
No, but it was one of those things where, like, in the 80s, that's what my mom did for a living. Like, she would take in, like, those, and, like, she would make, like, her own crafts and, like, her own, like, designs and stuff, and, like, she would sell those, like, it's, like, local sales and stuff, and, like, she'd do, like, different designs, and, she would, like, basically, like, if there was a project to be done, she'd figure out a way to do it. Like, before there was all this, like, do-it-yourself, before the internet.
Right,
like,
yeah.
how do you do this? I remember coming home one day from school, and, like, her and my neighbor are in our living room with sledgehammers, and they're breaking down the wall that's between our family room and our kitchen. And because my mom wanted to put a bar, like, not like a bar, but, like, you know, like the shelf kind of bar.
Yeah, the
breakfast.
half
It wasn't
yeah.
Yeah, like a half wall.
Yeah.
It wasn't a load-bearing wall between the kitchen and the living room to open up the space between the living room and our house. And, like, they were just doing that because, like they saw it. I don't know where they saw it. Like, they saw it in a magazine or something. They thought it looked cool. And, like, literally, it's like my little Spanish mother. Like, you can't tell, too. I'm the whitest Spanish boy in the world. My mother's from South America. My dad's from West Virginia.
Oh, my God.
Yeah, you can't tell from looking at it. I look
No,
like,
I never would have guessed.
yeah. So, but, like, my little tiny 4'8" Spanish mother and our neighbor just there with sledgehammer just breaking the wall down because they'd gone to the library to figure, okay, this is how you do it.
That's such a great story to have.
Yeah, there's a lot more, but that's where I think I get my creativity from. I definitely get it from my mom. Like, she's a funny story is because they actually live with us. She wanted. I'm getting ready to go to Indiana on Thursday, and I just bought 3 new banners for my display. And the problem is they're too big for my old bag that I had, so I had to find a new bag to travel with. So I bought a golf bag, like the travel golf bags, you know, like the airline travel golf bags.
Roll them up and put them in there.
Yeah, and I got a box, this really thick cardboard box for the post office, because, like, when I was first, here's a tip for anyone listening that's trying to find, like, packaging supplies. The U.S. Postal Service online is a great source to find free packaging if you want to do, like, their express postage stuff. It's really good. They'll send you, like, you can go on there and find, like, I need 12 by 12 boxes. I need, like, 200 of them. They'll send them to you for free.
Really?
Oh, just because you're using them for the postage.
You what?
Just because you're using them for the postage.
Yeah, they'll send you all this stuff for free.
Awesome.
So I was trying to find a way to get shipping tubes because I was shipping prints, and they had these free, their shipping tubes for free, and they're like a triangle hard cardboard tube, and I was like, all right, I'll just get the biggest one. I don't know how big I need them, but I'll just get the biggest one. Well, the biggest one is, I'll actually show it to you. I got one right here. It is that big.
Oh, it's got some height to it.
Oh my god.
Yeah.
But the box that it came in is like twice the size, and I ordered, because I was an idiot thing, I ordered like 5 boxes of them.
Oh, geez.
I didn't realize it was that big. Yeah. So my local post, the postal carrier, she was like, she's a friend, because I've been doing so many, like, shipping so much stuff out. She just came to the house. She's like, did you order 5 incredibly heavy, large boxes? I'm like, what? Did I order what? Like, they're shipping tubes. I'm like, oh, yeah. Did you bring them? She's like, they're not on the cart. They're at the post office. You need to go get them. Like, she wouldn't bring them because I live down the street from my post office, too.
Oh,
so it's like
God.
literally like half a mile down the street. So you got to go get them.
That's far
so I ended
enough.
up, yeah. But the box that it came in, it's so funny. I've had one box. I kept one box. But the box that it came in, it's perfectly in the golf bag.
Oh, that's
awesome.
Well, there you go.
So it's nice. So I got my banners in there, but my mom was like, she's like, well, you don't want to be picking this thing up and dragging it all over the place. What you need is like backpack straps on it. I said, yeah, but I'm not going to put, like, how would we get backpack straps on? No, just leave it to me. So she went to like Ace Hardware and got like the thick nylon straps and the buckles and sewed backpack straps on this thing.
That's a good mom.
Yeah, right?
Yeah.
Now,
That's supportive.
you're going to be, so you've got C2E2 coming up.
Yes.
MegaCon.
The end of April, and MegaCon in Orlando is the beginning of April.
Are you doing any other cons that in the near future? I know
yeah,
you just
I
let
have,
out a release on your
Indiana-
Facebook page.
It's not. I don't have everything listed on
No,
the Facebook
yeah,
page.
I
I'm doing right
understand.
now.
I just what I'm really getting at is, are you coming to Philly so that I can bug the hell out
not.
of you? Oh my God!
Sorry.
No, I'll just have to go to your
it's funny.
Etsy store.
Philly was the last Wizard World I did.
Really? Wow, that was almost a whole year ago now.
Here's the scoop. You probably, I don't know if you guys have seen on Facebook, like a lot of people talking about like the Wizard World shows.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, I've been following it, and it's DC and Marvel both pulled out a couple years ago,
Yeah.
and I know there's some issues.
Well, the main issue I had with it, and a lot of other convention artists had, Philly was kind of like the last straw with it.
Right.
Like I've never lost money at a show, but Philly was supposed to be a lot bigger show than it was. It was a good show. It was a really good show.
Yeah.
But the problem a lot of the convention artists were having was Artist Alley wasn't Artist Alley. It is an Artist Alley with Wizard World. They were inviting and don't get me wrong, I have nothing against crafters. I have friends that do crafts and they're really great people. But it was a lot of crafters and here's a felt hat I made.
Right.
There's
Now,
a couple
yeah.
dolls, and that stuff's cool. Don't get me wrong, it is cool. But then Wizard World started expanding on it more, and then here's right behind me in Philly was a guy selling Silver Surfer comics and Topps playing cards, and it's like he just said he was an artist to get the table cheaper, and then when he got there, he's like, "Well, dude, you're gonna have an empty table," and they were like, "Okay, take the table."
Shit.
And then the other problem we're having was, and a lot of other convention artists have commented on it. I can't think of the name of the company, but there's a company out there that they buy up prints cheap from the Philippines. They'll buy artist tables at shows. They'll buy 2 tables at a time,
Right.
and they'll send people to work the tables that aren't the artists. They have nothing to do with the artists that made it, that made the art, and they'll sell them for $5 a piece.
Oh, that's
So they're undercutting every artist in Artist Alley.
Completely.
They're not the artists. Yeah, and the rules too with Artist Alley, with most places, including Wizard World, is that you have to be the artist that made the product that is there at the table.
Right.
So it's they charge a couple $100 for the table, and then they also charge I think how much was Philly to get in? Was
Philly
it
was 55.
for the day or for the weekend?
No, definitely not for the weekend. I'm sorry, 45 for the day. 45 for the
Yeah.
day.
It's 45 for the day. It's probably about 90 or 80 for the weekend.
Oh, it was a
So
little
these people
more
are,
than that.
yeah, these people are paying close to $100 just to get in.
Right.
And the way they had the Artist Alley separated was, say you're looking straight onto the show. To the left is Artist Alley in the far corner. In the very center are the vendors and dealers. To the right is the little cafeteria area.
Right,
The
yeah.
very back is the celebrities and the guest signings and everything. So these people are spending about $100 to get in, and then they're spending about $100 for a picture with Matt Smith.
Oh, if not more than that, yeah.
Yeah,
Right.
They're spending another $50 for a picture with the guy from SG1. They're
Lou
spending
Ferrigno, yeah, absolutely.
they're spending $40 for a picture with Lou Ferrigno,
Yeah.
and then they get.
He's a big man. He really is.
He's awesome,
Oh,
really
he
nice
is.
guy, super nice
He's
guy.
huge, and I'm a big guy, and he makes me feel small.
Yeah, yeah.
It's a shame you're not coming to Philly, and I really was really hoping that you were. But
I wish.
Either way, I love your Etsy store. I love.
Oh, thanks, man.
Everything you post is. And I'm sorry for geeking out on you so much.
No,
But you're half.
You made me feel like a big man.
Your half paintings are the Han Solo and the Leia that you just recently that I was.
Oh, I did those over a year ago.
Yeah, no, I was just scrolling through your photo gallery just because
Yeah.
I see it and I'm like, oh, this is awesome. This is great too. I forgot about this. And
Yeah, I've had those just sitting in my office too. It was one of those things where I did them for a little local show here, and I kind of just put them all away in a box and kind of forgot about them. And then a couple weeks ago, I was like, oh yeah, I had some of them hanging up, and I'm like, I really should sell these.
yeah,
Yeah.
no,
So, what are you working on? Is there anything right now big that you're working on?
Big.
Big for you, exciting.
I'm prepping for MegaCon C2E2. I mean, I'm working on a couple of the books. I have a Game of Thrones book I'm trying to get done before the end of the month
That'd be
because I
great.
want to have it ready for okay, Game of Thrones starts April 6th.
I think 12th.
Yeah, something like that.
Yeah,
It's the first weekend of April.
Yeah.
I want to have that ready for MegaCon so that everybody's there like, Game of Thrones just started. Well, I have a new Game of Thrones book.
Yeah.
Perfect salesmanship. Salesmanship.
Right.
And I have an Indiana Jones book I'm trying to do too.
Great.
It's basically whatever my wife and I love, like whatever like we
That's
geek
the way to
out
do
over.
it.
That's what we're doing. Like I'm trying to do another Doctor Who book. I have 10 Whovian books right now.
Right. Which I'm slowly collecting, bit by bit.
Yeah.
I'm trying to collect as much of your stuff as I can because my son enjoys it. He really does, and
I'm glad,
I
man.
enjoy reading it to him.
That's cool.
I can't wait to see more of your stuff. I know we're gonna. I just shared your page again on my personal Facebook account.
I saw that. Yeah, you shared the
Yeah, it
Never
was,
Beast.
yeah, right. Which was a great sketch, and
Thanks.
I want everybody, as many people as I can, to see it. And
sure.
I told these guys about it, and we're gonna do everything to push what we can.
Oh, I
because
appreciate it.
We want the people that are listening to us to know about you because you're a person to know about. You in my opinion, and I think in ours in general.
Yeah.
I appreciate it.
For
And,
sure.
I don't want to keep you any longer. It's already been like an hour and a half with everything else.
We got so caught up talking to you. You're fun to talk to, man.
You absolutely.
Yeah, I fake it with humor, like you said.
Yeah, there you
How
go.
do you think we get by?
Yeah. It's
Snow days. I don't know.
there's
Got
no
nothing
such
else
thing.
To do, I guess.
Not when
No,
you
guys
not
are
when you
funny.
have children. No such thing as a snow day.
It's one of, oh God, yeah.
Yeah.
You don't have kids.
No.
Go to a movie. Go to a movie because I can't. Go to some sort of events on a Tuesday night or
Yeah.
a Wednesday night. That
Exactly.
Get out of the house.
On a random
That's what I
day.
tell- I get people ask me all the time too, like they're about to have kids or like I get a lot of people that come to the table and they're like pregnant and they're like about to have kids and they're like, oh, these would be great for the nursery and I'm like, oh, you guys is this your first? Yeah, and I'm like, I have two, and like I get asked every now and then like little things like, oh, what should we expect? And I'm like, why are you asking me? I don't like I have two kids but at the same time. Oh, hello.
Yeah,
Hold
you
on.
there?
Oh, for some reason it just went.
Yeah. Sorry about
please.
that.
Yeah.
Yeah,
But
it's
yeah, and I'm just like, go to a movie, go do something.
okay.
Because that first year you're a zombie.
Yeah. No,
Yeah.
you're absolutely right, and I'm just coming out of it now, and
Yeah.
it's got a lot to do. Just it's got a lot to do with me being able to give him something to pay attention to, and the
Yeah.
books are. And
Oh, yeah.
Listen, like I said, I don't want to keep you any longer than we have, and I really appreciate for coming on and everything that we had to go through in the beginning.
Oh yeah, that's
and
okay.
Like
Is
Matt
that a
said,
Rocketeer figure behind you? I'm sorry.
you're-
Where's that right behind your head?
Which one?
the Rocketeer. Is that right?
Is that a
No,
Rocketeer?
that's actually Todd McFarlane's Wizard of Oz figures. It's the wizard himself. It's really cool, man.
Oh, okay. I got
That's
excited
my
'cause I love
bag.
The Rocketeer. You see it on my stage. Like the Rocketeer and Iron Giant are like two of my favorite things. I'm like, whoa, that's cool.
Oh my God.
I was a big fan of your Iron Giant, by the way.
Oh, I love the Iron Giant so much. It's
Yeah.
that movie. He looks up at her, just I love you, and he's flying away, no follow. I'm crying every time.
You're all right. You're gonna make me cry. Stop. All right?
Yeah.
It's
It's a kid
unreal.
Hogarth. I do have to go. Actually, like the 2-year-old is coming up now.
No
No,
problem. bud.
perfect.
Here,
Thank you so much.
Give me an air high five.
Yeah, thank you very much. Perfect.
No greetings.
Thanks, buddy.
Thank you very much, sir. Enjoy your night.
Thank you guys.
Yeah.
We'll
Thank
talk to
you
you
very
soon.
much.
Have a good one, bud.
See you later.